Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. And today I am broadcasting from the sanctuary in the Fledge. I've got my headset on. I've got brown hair, brown eyes. I'm wearing a jacket today because I turned the heat off, trying to hope for summer to come faster. And it was a little chilly in here this morning. So today on the show, we've got our good friend Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well until I saw your background because I'm really proud of our plants and all that. But then you just come on so strong. It's beautiful. That must make you so happy to have that around you all the time.
Oh, I love it, and clearly you get it too. It's nice having some plants and just other life around. You know, it cleans the air and it really kind of helps keep the mood up, I think.
Yeah. Yesterday, I was having trouble filling a spot from somebody that didn't respond. And I've been wanting to interview our ducks before they left. So I was thinking about having the ducks on the show. And then I thought, you know what? There's so much life with our fish and our plants and our ducks and our chickens and our squirrels and our cat that I just interviewed them all yesterday.
Nice.
So let's jump into you. Tell us about you and like where you were born and raised, where you went to school. What brought you to REO TOWN?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Lansing. Basically, been here most of my life. Lived down in St. Joe, Benton Harbor area for a couple of years, but Michigander. Let's see. What brought me to REO TOWN? Well, I went to Grand Ledge High School. Ended up going to LCC for a couple of years, and I've always lived in the Lansing area. But I was living with a good buddy who finally was getting married, and he's like decided to kick me out of his place. So I looked around, and I wanted to find something that had a nice view. I've always been a fan of like water and nature, so that kind of brought me right to REO TOWN over in Fountain Place. So I get to overlook the Grand River and lots of life. So that's kind of what brought me here. Yeah.
I've always that Fountain Place. I've never been in there before, but I've always thought it's the coolest place. Is it pretty cool?
It's a really old kind of quirky building. That's kind of like half the appeal. It's a nice place. It's really cool.
So I want to go to LCC for a minute. You went there for an associate's degree or something, or what did you study there?
Yeah, so I went for networking and security. It was just a 2-year associate's degree, and I was about 3/4 of the way through actually, and I got a Linux class. And at the time, they were giving a tour of Liquid Web. So hopefully some people are familiar with it. It's a local web hosting company, and I basically got in, started working there actually right a couple weeks after that tour, and really never looked back. But LCC was a huge part of getting me into the door basically.
Yeah, I used to work on an apprenticeship program called ePathways with the LCC's IT group, and I just thought, the students that I got introduced to were so great, and one of the things that I saw is they'd get hired just so fast before their degree and everything. So
it's a good thing to have, right? I mean, a good problem, I guess, to have is not getting your degree, but getting hired. That's kind of the goal, right?
So did you work at Liquid Web with like Travis and?
Yep. Yeah. Actually, I talked to Travis. Talking to Travis Stalker. He was one of the people I talked to. He gave me his business card, and I told him, "What do I got to do to work here?" And he's like, "Send me your application." And so I did, and got in. Yeah.
So do you ever go to Saddleback and?
Yeah. Yep. I've eaten there plenty of times. It's great barbecue.
Do you get an employee discount from them still?
I don't. I asked him. I was like, "Travis, hook me up, man." It's like, well, we got a loyalty program, which I'm a part of.
Yeah, I met Travis. This is off topic, on a plane. I was flying to Dubai, and he was flying to I can't remember where. When it was very young in his career, and then didn't see him for like 10 years later, and it was right when he was starting to exit out of Liquid Web. So, anyways, let's talk about some of your projects. So you're still doing tech. right?
Yep. I actually I own and run a consulting firm, Cloud Spectator. Been doing that for a couple years now, actually.
And what does Cloud Spectator do?
So basically focused on measuring the internet and computers. So like right now, this is all being hosted in the cloud somewhere, right? There's some servers that are powering this all. And all of those servers are just like a different model of laptop or desktop, right? They have different levels of performance, different pricing. So basically I specialize on measuring that and factoring in the price and really always looking for what's the fastest thing to run your app or your website. It's kind of what I specialize in.
Does your is it software that does this analysis for you, or is it you and the software?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, I've got a lot of different software and tools that I'll run that are actually doing they call it benchmarking. So it just runs a simulated load. Maybe it'll stress out the CPU, or it'll simulate a database. And it'll really just push the system as fast as possible. So I'll run those tools a bunch of times, collect this data, but then the rest of it's really in Excel spreadsheet land, where you're kind of analyzing it and summarizing all that data.
Okay. And do you put the internet provider in there as well? Is that part of the
internet connection? I mean, that can have an impact, but I'm really just testing like Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure. I'm not really testing a Comcast or that kind of an internet connection.
So I can't ask you tough questions about the difference between ACD and MetroNet.
Well, I mean, you could. I could probably answer some of them, but just get the fastest connection possible. That's my advice.
Yeah. So you've been doing that for a couple of years? Is it a growing company? Did COVID have a big impact?
I want it to start to grow again. It's kind of an interesting story, I guess. I was actually working for this company. They after I left Liquid Web, they were located out in Boston, and I was working with them at Liquid Web. In fact, we paid them to test some of our stuff. But I worked for them for a couple of years, and it was, management I think their heart wasn't in it anymore, and it wasn't quite working. But I was like, this should work. Long story short, they ended up going under. They just couldn't get enough new projects to pay the bills. And I was like, hey, I mean, I've spent my whole life doing this. I still want to do it. Sell me, part of these assets, and I'll keep doing it. And so that happened. I bought the company I was working for, and it's just me right now. We had a couple people on board, just didn't quite work out. So I've kind of just been doing it on my own, trying to get it to a level set, and I do want to expand it. So if anyone's watching this and they're into any kind of consulting or technology or anything, message me. I am looking for people. I'd like to grow the company, but it's a fast growing space. Obviously, I mean, right now everyone's sitting at home. Where are they? The internet, right? So obviously the cloud and just internet in general is a very fast growing market.
Who's your ideal customer? What's your customer look like?
So right now it's very large enterprises. In fact, it's oftentimes the companies that are providing the infrastructure, right? So while I don't work with Amazon Web Services, I work with DigitalOcean. Linode is one of my recent clients, and a handful of other kind of smaller, medium-sized enterprise cloud companies. But they're the ones that are selling people this compute power. So they want to know how they stack up, obviously, compared to competitors, and they want someone that isn't them to come in and say, hey, this is how they actually perform. I'm a third party. So don't believe them, believe me, kind of a thing. So very large companies, but I'm also open to working with smaller, medium businesses who just, maybe they want to get online more, or maybe they want to, they're spending too much money and they need help reducing that spend. I'm more than willing to help them. I just not my target customer yet.
Okay. So when you talk about servers and networks and all of this, I can't help but to think about crypto and all of the transactions that are happening on the blockchain, especially when Bitcoin starts bouncing all over the place and takes all the altcoins with it. What have you seen that creep into your space?
Yeah, actually, a project I did for Linode just maybe a couple months ago was based on benchmarking GPUs, GPU compute in performance, which is in obviously really high demand right now. So yes, I've actually started doing that, and I can tell you which GPU will mine you, those coins quicker, more or less.
We got to figure out where we can buy it more than anything else right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to get right now.
Yeah. So you did some mining too, some crypto mining, right?
This was probably, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, something. Well, maybe not even that long. But right when Litecoin was kind of first starting to be a thing, Bitcoin had, and I'm kicking myself now. If I would have gotten in a year or two earlier, I'd be on a yacht right now. But yeah, no, I did. There was a whole winter. I remember this just a couple of years ago where I had all of my windows were open the entire winter because it was so hot. I had like 20 GPUs in my room, just mining Dogecoin, which is all the rage nowadays, ironically.
Well, you must be kicking yourself if you had a bunch of Dogecoin that you got rid of as well.
You just give it out to people. Here's 500 Dogecoin. Like, here you go. That was the fun of it because there's so much of it.
Around that same time frame, I bought $10 worth of Dogecoin, which was 10,000 coins. And I did it in an exchange I never used, and I forgot about it until 3 weeks ago. And so those 10,000 Dogecoins are worth like 2,800 today.
Nice.
So nice little $10 to 2,800 investment.
Well, at least you have access to it too. A lot of times people do that, and it's in some wallet on their laptop, and it's in the they're searching through the dumpsters and all that to try to find it. Yeah.
So so there's this tech, but you have all these plants behind you. Is that something? One of your projects? One of your
That is one of my new kind of passions in life, to be honest. My grandpa was he was a master gardener in Battle Creek. He actually maintained the children's arboretum. So I guess we kind of have plants just in the family blood, if you will. But I was never that interested in them until really a couple of years ago when I moved in here. I like tech a lot, and I spent so much of my life just focused on just tech. Then I got burned out, and it kind of just naturally, I was like, well, why don't I start to grow some plants? That seems different, and picked up a couple house plants, and then I just became addicted after that. I mean, I probably have a couple hundred in my apartment right now, but it was just a really good way to, focus on something that's not digital at all, and it benefits us. Obviously, it helps clear the air, and it's just fun watching them grow.
Yeah. Does it take you a lot of time every day to tend to them?
It used to. I used to be very obsessive over them, but I find that honestly, the more you're trying to maybe I'll water it a little bit or give them some fertilizer, you end up just overdoing it. So right now it's not too bad. In about another week or so, I'm going to move them all out on my balcony outside just so they get the sun. But they don't. That's the other thing that's nice about it. It's very passive. They don't have to take up a whole lot of your time, and you still get enjoyment. So I started propagating succulents. I've got hundreds of them. Once you learn how to do that, it's even more addictive.
Yeah, we got into that last year too. But do you find it my mental health is in a much better state when I'm working with plants? Do you find that as well?
Yeah. It just having another source of life around. It's kind of hard to, I guess, totally describe, but it's you can feel that they're there. I've got 2 cats too, so the more life you have, definitely the better. And it really does work wonders on mental health, that's for sure.
I can't remember. There's a gas that gets released by everything, like your carpet and your furniture and all of this, and it's not formaldehyde, but formaldehyde's like part of it, And I read an article yesterday that plants release these things too, and they're not bad for you. That's just how plants can kind of talk to each other. And I wonder how much that, breathing in that. I wanted to do more research, but do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that. I think I've heard, I've heard something along those lines, and it makes you wonder, we know a lot, humans know a whole lot about a lot, but there's also a whole lot we have no idea about. So I think that, I think you could be right there. I mean, maybe just having them around is doing things that are positive to us that we don't even fully understand yet.
Yeah. So there's plants, then there's rocks. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm a huge here. I got a couple here just for some show and tell. This is one of my favorite ones. I don't know how well you can see it. I think it looks like an octopus head. Personally, you can see like the eye right there. Kind of see the shape. This is fire agate, but I'll buy it kind of just raw format, and then I've got a bunch of rock tumblers. So here's one that I've kind of polished up. You can see.
So that one that's in your other hand would look like this.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. This one I'm not going to touch just because it blew my mind when I saw it. But this one I've actually polished. Yep.
Yeah. And so do you sell these, or is it? Oh.
I collect them. This one I like to think is like a little slug crawling on. This is a thunder egg here. So I just enjoy tumbling them. It is fun. I like to collect everything, right? I like different plants, rocks, trading cards. So that's half the appeal for me. But I also realized, it's easy to polish rocks, but not everyone has the patience and time. And if you can take an ugly looking rock and turn it into something pretty, people really like that, and they'll spend a lot of money. So I do sell some on eBay. I've got an eBay where I'll sell some of this stuff. And right now I'm kind of just hoarding up because I'm just like, what's rare, what's cool, and then I'll sell them. But yeah, it's kind of one of the side hustles of mine, and it's fun giving away to friends and just new people you meet. Everyone likes a cool new rock.
So you're never without a gift. Oh shit, I got to go to this birthday party.
It's either a plant. Yeah. Here's a little baby succulent, or here's a cool rock, or here's a Marvel trading card, or whatever. I've always got them. I highly recommend picking up a hobby where you can give stuff away. Right.
Yeah. That's another thing that's kind of a drug that gets released, is when you give stuff away, it makes you feel a lot better. Let's talk about trading cards. I think there was a Sunday morning episode within the last couple of weeks that they're on a huge comeback, and they're a lot different than what they used to be. I think I saw something about the Major League Baseball does they'll take a snapshot last night and have a new card out the next day.
Yeah. And I mean, we're seeing that, I think, well, it's kind of been conflicting, because there was a documentary actually about, the 1990s. Back in the 1990s, they were just printing trading cards left and right. There's like 1 billion of each model, and people are just burning them in the street saying, oh, they're not worth anything. Well, at the same time, I'm seeing a lot of that older stuff really, really bounce back. For sports, but especially non-sport stuff, right? I mean, people forgot there's Marvel trading cards. There's tons of Marvel trading cards. There's Lion King trading cards, Rugrat trading cards, Beavis and Butthead trading cards. And that stuff is I mean, I've seen the prices go up 4 to 5 times just from when I started. So that's really taken off, and a lot of people are buying them, and it's just fun. I think it's gonna continue on the rise, especially just because it's not digital. Some of them.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question, is what do you think about the NFTs, or the non-fungible tokens, that are starting to get associated with stuff like this?
That puts me in, I guess, kind of a weird spot, because here I am, like a tech guy, right? And I like to collect trading cards. So you'd think, oh man, like I'm all about NFTs, and I'm not against them at all. I've kind of looked into them a little bit. Part of me is still scratching my head. I'm like, how can something be collectible yet be digital, right? But they are unique, and I think we're going to see that start to take off. I've seen some pretty interesting NFTs lately. I think it's an interesting idea. At least there's you're putting something on what was just a digital coin. Like, what is a Bitcoin, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, what's an NFT? Oh, I can actually see it. It's a unique thing. So I think that'll be. I'm curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, I think it's going to ebb and flow for a while, like most of the crypto world has. But I don't know that art is going to be the ultimate use of the NFT. It might be more like property, and proving that you own the rights to stuff.
Probably.
Yeah. So, but it just, as you were talking about your tech and how it burned you out, and then you said non-digital was what you liked about the cards, I thought, oh man, I don't want to ask the NFT question.
Well, and now
anymore.
everything's going back to digital collecting. It's like, no, don't you people understand? Yeah.
Well, you can get 2 crypto kitties to, mimic your cats.
There you go. That's true.
Did you ever get into crypto kitties?
Crypto kitties? No, I have not.
Oh, it was almost like the first NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain. You could buy these kittens, and then you could breed them, and they would have new kittens, and then some of them were real rare.
So like Tamagotchi or whatever. Remember the Tamagotchi back in the day?
Yep, similar to that. So, so all these things, digital and not digital, that kind of seems to be the yin and the yang for you, maybe. Mm-hmm. Do you have 2 different missions, or do you feel like you're on a mission that's kind of encompassing of both?
I used to feel like I was on like a singular mission, and that mission was kind of just like learn as much tech as I possibly can and just like have as much influence over cloud performance, right? Kind of help make the internet faster, make people's computers faster. I mean, that's something that's just I've been doing my whole life, and I think that's kind of a mission for me in a way. But the other thing is just learning more things, experiencing new things, connecting with different people, and really kind of just getting outside of your normal box, if you will. That's kind of been like my new mission, is to find balance in life and really figure out exactly what makes you tick, if you will. It's finding your bliss. I don't know if you've heard of Joseph Campbell.
I have.
I absolutely, like, as soon as I started watching The Power of Myth, it just blew my mind. But one of the things he really hammers home on is find your bliss. And when you do that, what really kind of brings you forward and really motivate, like, amazing things start to happen. And I think there is something to that. So I'd like to say I'm kind of just on that path right now. But I think I've got enough hobbies already. So I'm hoping I'll find it soon.
Did you, so as you're searching for that bliss, and you have these kind of 2 different worlds, I guess, environmental concerns, climate change, things like that, is that an anxiety for you? Or maybe that's the wrong word. I'm sorry.
Well, it is something that I'm worried about, right? I mean, and to be honest, part of the reason why I got all these plants when I moved into REO Town is right across the river is GM, right? I mean, you see all these in the power station and all these smokestacks, and there is I've kind of got this concern of like the world just turning into this concrete jungle, if you will. I think if we all just grew 20 or 30 houseplants each, that might help a little bit, right? And just kind of get people more, love plants. You can love modern society too, but we really need a lot more plants and fungi too, for that matter. Fungi is very, very important to kind of just making the earth healthy, right? Yeah.
It extracts the poisons and the contaminants and all of that. Hey, this weekend I might have a guy come over and bring a bunch of spores and teach us how to grow fungi. If you're interested, I'll send you an email.
Actually, yeah, that'd be great. I've been wanting to take a class. That's kind of one of those things where I'm like, do I really need to get into another niche right now? But yeah, definitely keep me posted.
Okay, I will. So your mission, what's something you do every damn day to push it forward?
I just try to keep learning, learn as much as I can, and also just teach people. I mean, if someone's interested or they're like, hey, how do you how do you polish those rocks, or how do you keep these plants alive? I like to, have as much good information as I can, learn a lot, but I also like to pass that along, and in the hopes that that brings them happiness, and then they pass that along. I think that's a good mission, and that's I've been encountering a lot of new people in my life that have been doing that to me. So I think that's it's probably the personal mission.
That's the perfect time to put up someone's comment. Mona David saying the yin and yang of symbiotic connections. If you teach someone something, they teach you something, keeps the cycle going.
Yep.
Do you approach this, either the rocks or the plants, with a meticulous like detail that you would with maybe a server?
No, it's a little bit different. It's more just exploratory and experimenting, I think, with rocks and plants, because it's just an area that's so foreign and I guess new to me. Where servers, you're really it's much more rigid, and you can do some experimenting there, but you can't do the same kind of science you can with plants, and especially just when you start looking at the soil and how much airflow is getting in there. There's all kinds of fun variables that you can't predict, or you can't just run a test script on a plant, right? You kind of just have to do something and wait and observe, and that's half the fun. I
say jump into the chaos and wait for the order to emerge in front of you.
Yeah, but if you're going to mess with plants, just make sure you kind of propagate. If you got a succulent, pop those little things off and throw it in the dirt somewhere else so you grow new plants. That way, when you're experimenting on that one plant, you don't accidentally kill. Well, if you accidentally do kill it, you still got more, right?
Yeah. Succulents, man, are amazing to me. How easy they are. It seems like they just want to grow.
They do. And they're almost like little aliens too. It's crazy to see they'll move with the light. And so you put them all in a new spot, and then couple days later, they're all like in the exact same. It's so much fun. And yeah, they love growing. They love growing pretty quickly too.
Yeah. So we daisy chain the shows together, and on the show the other day, I didn't skip the show. I skipped this question part. We had Claretta, who is running for an at-large seat for city council. And the question she wanted me to pass to you was, what do you get on your pizza?
Do I get on my pizza? I'm a meat lover. As much as I love plants, bacon, you got to have bacon. You got to have pepperoni. Got to have sausage. I've been getting into peppers. Peppers are pretty good too. Just no mushrooms. As much as I like fungi, I can't eat mushrooms on my pizza.
All right. So at first she thought the question was silly, and then I thought, no, you can learn a lot. You can see if someone's a vegetarian or not. You can see, and then you added all this other stuff too. So I think it's a great
butter cheese crust. You got to get butter cheese crust. That's it's the best.
I love that a lot too. I can't remember what show it was, but a guy said he was a vegetarian because he hates plants. Right, he just only ate the plants. So,
hey, I guess that makes sense.
So you love plants, so you don't want to eat them.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Perfect.
They belong growing. They don't belong in my stomach.
So tomorrow on the show, Cameron Nass, who is the CEO and founder of Traction downtown on Michigan Avenue. What question would you like to pass to him?
So it's kind of I guess it'd be twofold, because some people aren't into rocks or plants, but I figure between most people, they've got to have a favorite rock or a favorite plant. So I'd like to know what that is. And if they don't have one of them yet, they can come talk to me, and I'll show them the ropes.
I think he's going to love that. Do you have, and since you know them both, actually all three, I'm going to ask you three questions in response.
All right.
What's your favorite plant? What's your favorite rock? And what's the favorite trading card you have?
So I would say my favorite plant, I feel bad because I don't know the exact, it's a cactus. I call it the cac tower. I mean, the thing is growing all over the place. I I don't know the exact name though. But I like cactus succulents. Basically, is the answer to that. For rocks, I gotta say Uprolites. I think Uprolites are the coolest, especially because they're from Michigan, and I like fluorescent things. So I'd say Uprolites. What was the third one?
What's your favorite trading card you have?
So I have a dual signed Homer Simpson. It's a 1990 Simpsons trading card, and it's signed by Homer Simpson and the voice actor. I got to say that's probably my favorite one. I had the original Charizard holographic, but I've since sold that. Otherwise, that'd be my favorite.
Did you know that there are cactuses that are native to Michigan?
Mm-mm.
I didn't know this until last year. I went to the native plant sale at Fenner, and they had a cactus, and I was like, "This isn't native to Michigan." They're like, "Yes, it is." So there's one out in the front. It's survived 2 winters so far.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Well, you learn something new every day, right?
Yeah, prickly pear. Maybe that's what Ashley Jones is saying, or maybe that's their favorite plant.
Pickle plants are pretty cool. That's a pretty cool one.
Yeah. What is happiness to you, and are you happy?
So happiness, I think, is kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier. Following your bliss, finding some things in your life that you enjoy doing, and then just following those, and keep going. And so I'd say that's kind of happiness to me. I mean, it's just having things in your life that you enjoy. Am I happy? Yeah. I mean, I think I'm, given it's, we're in the middle of a pandemic still, and there's some hard times, but I'm as happy as I possibly can be right now. So yeah.
I like it. It is a tough time, but it seems like everybody can find a little bit of bliss here and there.
Yep. With the help of our plant friends, they especially help.
Yeah. What gives you hope?
People, new people, new opportunities, new experiences. I think as long as you keep experiencing that, new things start coming your way. I mean, this is a great example. Just get to be on this show here. That's been great. So, just following your bliss and just anytime you can do a new experience or meet someone new or do something different. When you can do that's really kind of what drives me forward and keeps me optimistic about the future. And vaccines, everyone get vaccinated. Those are giving me a lot of hope right now.
I'm going to just zoom out a little bit. I was hoping that was okay.
Yeah.
Looks even better, man. It's spectacular behind you. But I've got my second Moderna in me. I'm stuttering. And had another guest that's watching say that they just got their dose. So nice. Watching the show during that, man, that messed me up a little bit though. I'm glad I did it, but
that's what I hear. I've got my second. I've got the Pfizer. My second one's scheduled for like the 4th this upcoming month. So I hear the second one's the doozy, but I think that's the more of us that get those, the better, right?
Yes. So I am definitely an advocate for that. I do understand people's mistrust of the healthcare system, and I can't really speak for how you should feel about that, but I do think the vaccine is a way for us to get out of this. So thank you for bringing that up too. I'm looking for this quote right here. Lansing is a national treasure with growing potential. And when you registered for the show and I kind of looked at what you were doing, I had that same thought about how cool these different companies and these different niches and these different people in the city are. Do you share that sentiment about Lansing?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's, a big part of why I'm still here, right? I mean, I guess I could have moved out to Boston or a bigger city years ago. There's nothing keeping me here, but I've always felt like, Lansing's, there's a lot more opportunity here, and there's going to be some growth that we haven't seen yet. So definitely. I think she's right. I mean, Lansing there's a lot of opportunity here, and it's a beautiful beautiful place to be. So definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it too. Did we forget to talk about anything or anything you want to talk about that we didn't?
I feel like we've touched on basically everything.
Okay. Would you like to take us out with something?
I would say, if you're watching this and let's say your life's you're not happy right now, or you don't feel like you're totally there, I'd say just go find something new. Go talk to different people, get outside of your typical bubble, and I would say that'll probably help a lot. So I hope everyone's happy watching this, or they get happier. So just find what you really like and just keep following it. And yeah.
And there's nothing I can say to improve on that because that's my thing too. So thank you so very much for coming on the show and telling us about your journey and your story and what you're doing. And yeah, look for plants and rocks and trading cards and the best servers in the world, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it.
All right. Well, thank you again. And thank you, everybody, for all your comments and for watching. And tomorrow, every damn day at 2 p.m. And we will see you later. See you, Mike.
See ya.
Yeah. Bye-bye.